Hey guys, welcome back. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning. This is going to be the last 80-degree day, I hope. We'll see. At least in the 10-day forecast, there's not any other 80 degrees. And it's the perfect day to plant up some fall pots. So it's time to say goodbye to some of those annuals. I know it's hard, but me planting these fall plants right now will just make me so happy in the next few months. So it's definitely worth the trade-off. Let me show you what I have. I have this big pot here. It's getting a little tired. We had a lot of rain, so everything got a little soggy, and it's just time to say goodbye. And then I have 3 pots up here. I don't know if I'm going to do this all in one video. Oh, look at the mountains. I don't know if you can see the red trees. Probably not. There's not a lot of color this year. It's not as vibrant as it usually is, and then it rains, so I think a lot of the trees lost their leaves. But oh, that mountain view is stunning. I actually decided I would probably keep that a separate video because I also want to tackle these pots over here. Let's go look at these, and then next video we'll talk about these under these baskets. These are looking a little tired too. Oh, it really is hard to say goodbye to these, but I'm ready for like a clean, tidy look. I'm like tempted to wait a little longer, you guys. Why is it so hard to do that? Let me think about it. I don't know what I'm going to do today, but I do want to show you these. So I did switch these pots out, and I'm kind of sad. You guys, my Japanese pansies aren't doing very well. There's only like 2. Look, I've had these all die. This one's going strong. Oh my goodness. This one looks like it might make it. And then these 2 might be able to also. So I'm glad I planted these, so there's something in here, but I'm really sad. They just weren't in the best condition when I got them, so I know that's part of it, but they just had a hard time. And these have flourished, so I know the water in here is great. We've had quite a bit of rain, so they just didn't make it. Bummer, but I'll be happy if these 2 do. But I switched that pot out, and I'm happy about that. And I have some pansies that I need to plant up in here too for a different video. So we've got a lot going on, but I think I'm gonna clean them out. I just gotta do it. Anyway, do you guys struggle with this too? It's so hard. You work for something so long, and then it's beautiful, and then it's like, okay, time to get rid of that. But this for sure is looking super tired. So I wanted something evergreen in here. I was just gonna plant just plain pansies, and then I decided I wanted it to be vertical, and I wanted it to have some winter interest. So then I decided I wanted it to be a pine. So I went up to this garden center. It's called Crestwood Growers. It's a beautiful place up on the foothills of our mountains, and it's owned by this guy. This guy comes out, and he's quite a bit older. I mean, I don't really want to guess his age, but I could probably say he's in his 80s. Big, tall guy, so helpful, so nice, so many Utah grown plants. And we were walking around and looking at all the evergreens, and we came upon this one, and I was like, I must have this. It is so, so pretty. I kind of wanted to get like a weeping spruce or just some kind of Christmas tree looking plant, but then I saw this with its white bark and these beautiful needles. They're like, I don't know if you can see them, but they're like 2 different colors. There's a lighter blue green and then a regular green, so they're like together. It's so pretty. And I was like, this is the one I want to put in here. I hope I don't kill it. I thought going to a wholesaler, this might be a little less expensive, but it is 6 years old, he said. So I mean, they've been growing it for a long time, so I paid more than I thought I was going to pay for it, but I hope it's worth it. I hope I don't kill this, but it should be fine. But when it was time for me to get it, I mean, this guy, he's 80, he picked this up and carried it to my car, and I was like, oh, you're strong. And he was like, yeah, I used to be a professional football player. And I was like, wow, this guy's 80 and he's carrying all these big trees around. It was pretty impressive. Anyway, so if you're in this area, if you're in northern Utah, Davis County, that is a good place to go for trees. He has so many different selections. I'll probably go up there in the spring and get some evergreens. I imagine it might be a little cheaper if you're getting more than just one item. And since I was just getting one item, I don't think he really gave me a huge discount. When I first got there, he was like, name your price. What do you want to pay? And I didn't feel comfortable doing that because first of all, I didn't even know what I wanted, so I maybe could have got a better deal, but I just felt like I'm just getting one tree, and They had so many of these. They're so beautiful. They do get quite large, but I think I'm gonna keep it in the pot for a while, as long as I can at least. And I love that it's kind of sparse and I can plant things under it and it will still look beautiful. And so we're gonna pray again for this tree that it won't die. But I'm gonna put that in this pot, and I think it'll be beautiful with snow on it all winter long. It's in full sun, which is really nice. And he did give me a few tips for it. He did say that you want to make sure it goes to bed wet, which I thought was really interesting. And then he said before the freeze, you want to make sure it's wet so that it can freeze solid. I've had evergreens on my porch before that just didn't do well, and I think that was probably my problem. I didn't keep up on the water, and it probably wasn't frozen solid when it really froze. And I think being out here in the elements, it'll get more water, and I'll just make sure to check on it. But other than that, he said he only waters them like once a month throughout the winter. And I do that for other pots too, so that should be pretty easy to do. So that's the care. That's the thing that I always worry about the most when I'm planting evergreens in pots, but I'm really hoping that this one works out. So I'm gonna plant that there. And then I have, let's go look over here and I'll show you something. And then I have these little topiaries. I wanted to put boxwoods in those other ones because I felt like over in that area, it's just a lot of flowers and I want more evergreen. That's kind of what I'm trying to focus on. And so I'm gonna put these and plant them in those pots, and hopefully that will work out fine. These are pretty deep, and my other ones, yeah, they're about that deep, so I think it should be great. I know you don't wanna like over pot your plants, so you don't wanna put them in a pot that's extra big, but I think they should be totally fine. As long as I'm keeping them watered. Usually when you're up potting plants, you only do it like 2 inches wider of a pot, but this should be totally fine, I think. We'll see. And I've had good success with keeping these out here the last, I don't know, 2-3 years. I'll keep these little topiaries somewhere, and I like to tuck these in close to my house when I store them for the winter. So I'm gonna move these into those pots over here and take those flowers out and have that done. And yeah, I just decided I'm gonna do it. That'll be what I do for this video. And I might underplant these with pansies too. I have some extra ones that I think I could probably use. And so we'll be doing that as well. So let's get started. Like I said, it's a beautiful morning. I love the sun shining on the creek. Just makes me happy. Whoa. Falling. You guys had the biggest fall yesterday. Can you see? Let's see. You see the bruise on my knee? If you watched my video of me potting up my shed pots, I totally fell over my wheelbarrow. So mad I didn't catch it on video, but my knee is really sore and stiff today. But I'm gonna move it a lot today and it should loosen it up a little bit. Okay, let's get planting. It feels good to have that out of there actually, and look how beautiful that pot is. I got this at Pottery Barn, and I'm gonna clean it, excuse me, but a little bit because we got like spider eggs going on and we've got snails all over, but I love how you can see the lamb's ear behind it. So pretty, and lots of little critters in there. I did leave some of these little roots in and I just loosened them up because it's organic material, I'm learning, and I think it's fine. This probably doesn't have a ton of nutrients left, but I'm gonna add some more in there, but I think that soil will be just fine. And then after I get that in there, these are the pansies that I have, and I love them. Oh my goodness. Lots of different shades. It's also got this yellow. I potted these up in my pots by the shed. This is the Colossus Rose Medley, and it's gonna be really pretty here. I scooted this back on this crack. I found if I put my pots on a crack, they will just drain out to the side, which is really nice. And this one actually had some cement that was like built up on the side right here. And I had my husband, you can kind of see it, I had him chip it away a little bit because it was blocking it from dripping. But I just make sure that I have this area open. Probably clean this out a little bit. And then that way my pots don't make a big mess. I mean, they do kind of leave it a little bit, but if it drains into the soil, then it doesn't really. So I have to strategically place them. Okay, now I'm gonna put this drip line around here. And I just use these little landscape staples to keep it around. And that will run for another couple weeks until the sprinklers get turned off. But oh, look how pretty. Oh my goodness. How beautiful for fall and winter, right? They're a little waterlogged right now, but that's gonna be so pretty. Oh, I love it so much. Where am I gonna plant it when I'm done? I don't know. I'm not sure, but I like it. And I think I'm gonna try to have it live in here as long as possible. So wish me luck. Okay, let's move on to these pots over here. Pot was so full of water, pulled this off and realized this had popped off. Don't know how long it's been like that. So pop that on, and maybe that's why my pots were having a hard time. Okay, spray this off. That pot was so heavy with all that stuff in there, but I finally managed to clean it out, and now it's time to put those plants in. I don't know why that was one of the messiest jobs I've ever done. I think it's the Miracle-Gro soil. It's just not that great. It was inexpensive. It was on sale, so I bought it, but it's just, it doesn't soak up water. It's just not good. I think I'm done using it. Hate to say that, but it's just not my favorite. But these are going to be beautiful in here. Hopefully I'll keep them alive. I'll just keep watering them. I'm going to put this drip tube back in, and now that that one's unplugged a little bit, that will be a lot better. Well, it's sad to get rid of those flowers that I had in there. It's nice to have something fresh, and these are kind of small right now, but I think as they get bigger they'll get cute. Let's find a good view here. The light's kind of bright right now, but I think they're cute on the side of the steps right there. I definitely wanted something more evergreen. I thought about buying some of the spires, but I thought I already have two anyway, so why not just use what I have and not buy any more? So I think they're a good use. So I think they're perfect here. One thing I want to say about keeping these out in the winter. So you want your boxwoods, I believe, to be 2 zones lower than your zone if you want to keep them outside, which I know these are. I can't remember what variety they are, but I do know they're 2 years lower, or 2 zones lower. And I kept them in these clay pots, and clay pots aren't really frost resistant. They crack. This has a crack in it. They don't do that great. I did keep them in the sun, but I think the freezing and the thawing just causes these cracks. So this one looked pretty good, but this one is cracked. But I have kept these plants in these pots, and these are kind of inexpensive, so it's not a huge deal, but it is, I mean, they're probably like 20 bucks or something. But I usually keep mine in this spot in the winter and pile them all up right here, and they've done fine. So I know these are going to do fine here, and these pots are frost resistant. I know that. I've never had them outside all winter, but I think they're going to be totally fine, as well as the one up here that I have from Pottery Barn. It's just a really nice outdoor pot. I think these are going to be really fun here, especially when they get really big. These have been in the shade by my shed for a while, and it started to get really busy up there with flowers, and I decided I don't want to have them there next year. So it's a good time to move them, get them in their new home, and they'll get a lot bigger faster, I think, out here now that they're in the sun. But that's the great thing about boxwoods. They do well in shade or sun, so they're perfect evergreen. So these will be fun to have out here with a little bit of snow on top of them this winter. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy I'm adding more evergreens. So I'll come out here, same thing, about once a month. I keep them well watered, and then I'm going to make sure that before we have our first freeze, we're going to have a lot of freeze and thaw. Before we have our really hard freeze, I'm going to make sure that they're not dried out, that they're wet and they freeze solid. So I think that will be good. That's good information to know. So that's it for today. I have quite a bit of mess to clean up. We weren't going to mow today because it's still wet from all the rain, but now it's even more wet. So I think we'll have to mow tomorrow when it dries out even more, because it's supposed to get up to 80 degrees today. So thanks so much for joining me as I polish my garden, and I hope I've inspired you to polish yours too. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.